It's part of the American landscape and a global icon. 50 years in the making, 50 million customers a day, 31,000 stores around the world.
Hi, I'm Al.
Quarter pound of cheese.
Can I help you?
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you?
Tonight, CNBC's Carl Quintanilla shows you McDonald's like you've never seen it before.
We've got oven-dried tomatoes, poblano peppers, lime, cilantro, really relevant flavors.
Go inside the secret test kitchen where new creations live
We are testing the seasoning today.
or die.
Unfortunately, there's some work that needs to be done.
See how McDonald's trains its army of workers and just how profitable a franchise can be.
It's made you a rich man. Absolutely.
From a few small hamburger stands, see how a visionary named Ray Kroc created a food empire.
They were serving hamburgers for 15 cents, French fries for 10 cents, and I said, that's for me.
$21 billion a year in revenue, 2 million pounds of beef a day, and a lot of controversy.
Big Mac, large fry, and a large Coke. 1,430 calories, 59 grams of fat.
Well, you have to make choices about what you eat.
McDonald's is a business, and its job is to sell more food, not less. It doesn't care what kind of food it sells.
And take a journey to McDonald's next frontier, where it's out with the old and in with the new.
I just look at China, 1.3 billion population. The opportunity is endless.
Now, the CNBC original documentary, Big Mac, Inside the McDonald's Empire.
You're looking at hallowed ground for the McDonald's Corporation. Today, this place, just outside Chicago, is a museum. But in 1955, this was a working McDonald's. In fact, it's the first store ever opened by company founder Ray Kroc. Good evening, I'm Carl Quintanilla. Back in the 50s, you could open a McDonald's with about $30,000. You would have been in on the ground floor for what would become the biggest, most successful, most powerful fast food chain in the world. Today, it could cost $1 million or more to buy a McDonald's franchise, but it can still pay off big time, as we found out when we began our behind-the-scenes look at the McDonald's Corporation with a visit to one of its busiest locations in the world. It's one of the busiest, most congested roads in America, Interstate 95 in Darien, Connecticut. 120,000 vehicles travel north on this stretch of highway each and every day. 120,000 reasons the McDonald's restaurant near Exit 13 is one of the busiest stores in the busiest chain.
Thank you very much. Have a great one, all right?
In the biggest and most successful commercial food enterprise on planet Earth.
Can I help you, sir?
George Michel is the owner-operator. A second-generation Mexican-American and graduate of Northwestern University, Michel took over this struggling franchise in 1990, the first of 6 stores he now owns, and where he still does his share of windows and the register.
This little baby, I take it home with me. I'm going
You
home
probably have the keypad memorized, don't you?
in my dreams. Yeah? Yeah, this. Can I help you, ma'am?
Like thousands of other McDonald's owner-operators, years of working 80-plus hour weeks have made George Michel a wealthy man.
Come on, son.
Today, he strolls his beachfront property on Connecticut's Gold Coast. That is, when he's not on the phone.
Okay, what about the crew? Did everyone show up on time?
Or working 14-hour days.
Can I help you?
And like all successful owner-operators, he has a key partner in his top manager.
Take me 3 seconds to fix it for you.
In Darien, Connecticut, that's Tyrone Davis.
We do a lot of volume, and we do a lot of sandwiches, like fries is the #1 thing at McDonald's. We do a lot of fries. We do a lot of fries.
Davis was a rookie crew member when George Michel took over in 1990.
18 years ago, we weren't absolutely sure if we wanted to work with each other.
But Davis did stay, and 18 years later, he's operations manager, overseeing all 6 of Michel's McDonald's stores. Taken together, it's an $18 million business with more than 300 employees. Working at McDonald's is commonly dismissed as a McJob, low wages with a staggering turnover. But a good McDonald's manager can earn $100,000 a year or more. And soon, Davis will run his own McDonald's. After nearly 2 decades with George Michel, he's set to become an owner-operator himself.
Good.
And he expects to do very well.
You may not be a billionaire rich, you may not be a Bill Gates rich, but you're going to be rich enough for you to retire early if you want and be comfortable.
It's not out of the question that you might be a millionaire.
No, it's not. Always check quality.
Davis's workday is a marathon of crew supervision.
Okay, 167, that's perfect. Beautiful.
And customer service.
I'm gonna give you a refund, okay? Because you waited for your food so long, all right?
Davis also keeps vigil over what he says is the most important element in any McDonald's. And it's not the fries. The number one thing.
The bathrooms.
Why?
Number one thing. If the bathroom is dirty, no matter what, you've lost that customer.
It's that obsession with detail and efficiency that has made McDonald's Corporation bigger and more profitable than any of its competitors. It's also made it a global behemoth with more than 31,000 stores in 118 countries. Financially, McDonald's is soaring with annual revenues of more than $21 billion. But that's a major turnaround from where the company was just a few years ago.
The world's largest restaurant company is not enjoying a happy meal tonight.
McDonald's warned that it would post a quarterly loss for the first time ever.
In 2002, after years of unchecked growth and a lack of attention to basics, McDonald's announced its first ever quarterly loss.
We like to say we took our eyes off our fries.
Jim Skinner is McDonald's chief executive officer. In 2002, same-store sales were sliding.
Right.
Margins were sliding.
Right.
First quarterly loss ever.
Right.
What went wrong in that period?
Well, first of all, I call 2002 the year of the perfect storm, where all of the things and the strategies that we were pursuing, the growth strategy, we basically hit the wall in 2002.
A growth strategy that included opening more than 2,000 new restaurants a year. It was unsustainable, even for the Golden Arches.
We invested $4 billion in new store growth over the previous 3 or 4 years, no incremental income growth. You know, and that's a formula for
bankruptcy.
Failure.
Skinner can laugh now, but in 2002, that was a formula for unhappy customers. Instead of a happy meal, they often found dirty stores, cold food, and a detached staff. On Main Street, McDonald's was out of favor. And on Wall Street, McDonald's stock was getting hammered.
All we knew was that we had to change something.
For company executives like USA President Don Thompson, it was a wake-up call.
The first thing we went back to was we've got to be better in our existing facilities. So we've got to get quality service and cleanliness shored up. First thing.
The kitchen was revamped. Sandwiches were no longer stockpiled, but instead were made to order. They added more chicken and salads to reflect evolving tastes and health concerns. They spent less time building new stores and more time focusing on the ones they had. But amidst the turnaround, McDonald's weathered a double blow. CEO Jim Cantalupo, co-architect of the so-called Plan to Win, died of a heart attack while at a McDonald's convention. His successor, Charlie Bell, was diagnosed with cancer and died soon afterwards. Jim Skinner, who started out flipping burgers at McDonald's in 1971, became the third CEO in just 7 months.
I think that the mood of the company was one of sorrow, one of disbelief, that we would go through 2 such situations in such a short period of time.
But the plan was in motion. McDonald's began renovating older stores. And in one of its most successful moves, it launched a line of premium coffees that lured many customers back from Starbucks and helped it solidify its stronghold on breakfast. For McDonald's, breakfast is huge and delivers $25 of every dollar it makes in the U.S. Getting back on track has been good news for the company and for store owners like George Michel, who keeps a reminder of how easily success can be derailed.
Look at this.
This is from USA Today when the company was in trouble.
Yes, absolutely.
And the #1 suggestion was fix the food.
Yes. And we have. It's great food. It's hot. It's made for you. We went back to the basics.
50 years ago, Company founder Ray Kroc took a small hamburger business and transformed it into a global food empire. His stroke of genius was in tapping the drive and ambition of thousands of individual store owners like George Michel.
The golden arches are golden.
You've made more money and can make more money with them than without them.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful relationship. It's a marriage.
And it's made you a rich man.
Absolutely.
Coming up, Ray Kroc knew a good thing when he saw it.
I was amazed. They were serving hamburgers for 15 cents, French fries for 10 cents, and milkshakes for 20 cents. And basically, that was the menu. And I said, that's for me.
The man who turned a hamburger stand into a worldwide obsession. And when 1.3 billion people get a taste for cheeseburgers, watch out.
It could be the #1 market in the world. It could be.
When Big Mac inside the McDonald's empire continues. We now return to Big Mac inside the McDonald's empire.
They were California's golden girls of the 40s and 50s, the car hops. Drive-in restaurants were all the rage in car-crazy Southern California back then. In San Bernardino, everybody stopped at the drive-in run by the McDonald brothers. Yes, there really were two guys named McDonald. But even with the cutest car hops around, Dick McDonald realized customers wanted even faster service.
We were kind of getting into an age of jet propulsion, and this was really a horse and buggy operation. We knew we had to do something to speed things up.
That something was getting rid of everything on their menu except the big moneymakers, and then making those the way Detroit made cars, on an assembly line. Former CEO Fred Turner explains.
They got it down to 9 items. The production system on the hamburgers, the cheeseburgers, the fries, the milkshakes, they developed all of that.
In 1948, the Brothers Drive-In reopened as McDonald's custom-built hamburgers, featuring their speedy service system.
We began to get sales clerks, construction workers, cab drivers, and they loved the speed of it. Boy, they could come in bingo. Another big factor, the youngsters loved it, so of course when we had the kids, we had mama and papa too.
By the early 1950s, the McDonald brothers were earning nearly $500,000 a year in sales. For a Chicago salesman named Ray Kroc, it was a bonanza. Kroc sold multi-mixers, a machine that could make 5 milkshakes at a time. And he'd just gotten an order from the McDonald's for 8 machines.
In those days, nobody had 8 multi-mixers in one business. So I went out there, and I was amazed. They were serving hamburgers for 15 cents, French fries for 10 cents, and milkshakes for 20 cents. And basically, that was the menu. And I said, that's for me.
In 1955, Kroc signed a contract with the McDonald brothers to be their exclusive franchise representative. John Love is the author of McDonald's Behind the Arches.
It was not a very good contract from Ray's vantage point. The McDonald brothers made a lot of money for doing nothing, and Ray made very little for doing everything.
That didn't stop Kroc. He opened his first McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois. Back then, it was a calling card.
Ray had something he could show and demonstrate, and people could come and look at and get a sense of what the potential was.
In 1957, Al Golin became McDonald's first PR man. He's still doing it a half-century later. He talked a lot about getting big, having 1,000 stores, for instance. Do you think he actually believed it was going to happen?
No, I don't think so. Because when I would sit with him with an interview in the early days, and a reporter would ask him, well, how many of these can you really open, Ray? And he'd say, we're going to open 1,000 of these someday. And then we'd go outside, and he'd give me a little wink and say, yeah, that'll be the day.
Even in his wildest dreams, Kroc didn't think that kind of growth would happen anytime soon. He started slow, demanding consistency.
Getting that meat centered on the bun is about the toughest thing that we have to contend with.
He was intense about good operations. He was intense about quality of food, intense about fast service. but most intense about cleanliness.
Quality, service, cleanliness became the McDonald's mantra, enforced by a management team led by former grill man Fred Turner.
Fred was sort of the son that Ray never had, and Fred was extremely important to the company.
It was Turner who started a very serious management training program with a very silly name, Hamburger University. While Turner's Hamburger U indoctrinated franchisees,
Tom, congratulations.
Kroc's financial wizard, Harry Sonneborn, came up with a plan that gave the company complete authority over its operators. McDonald's became every franchisee's landlord.
You charge rent on the basis of what the franchisee sold. That put Ray's interest in parallel with his own franchisees.
And his franchisees became the real marketing innovators within the McDonald's system.
There he goes.
A Washington, D.C. owner started using a clown in his commercials. It was the birth of Ronald McDonald, played by none other than Willard Scott.
Well, hi! Isn't that McDonald's hamburger delicious?
Mom told me never to talk to strangers.
Well, your mother's right as always, but I'm Ronald McDonald. Give me a McDonald's shake.
Franchisees were also menu innovators, sometimes out of necessity. Cincinnati owner Lou Groen had his store in a Catholic neighborhood, and McDonald's had nothing on its menu for meatless Fridays.
So I got the idea I was going to make a fish sandwich. I told Ray about it. He said, "I don't want your damn fish sandwich. It's going to stink up my restaurants."
Kroc didn't want the fish sandwich because he thought he had a better idea.
I said, well, we'll take a slice of pineapple. And incidentally, this is a great sandwich at home. Fix it up. Slice
you haven't given up on it, have you?
You grill it in butter and put a slice of cheddar cheese on top, one on the bottom, and put it on toasted bun or bread. And they call it a hula burger.
A showdown was arranged for Good Friday, the hula burger versus Lou Groen's fish sandwich. Whichever sold the most would be put on the menu.
I called up and I said, "How many sandwiches did Ray sell?" He says, "I can't tell you." He says, "How many did you sell?" I said, 350. He said, "It's on the menu."
Filet-O-Fish was born, the very first addition to the original menu.
We're gonna do it this style tonight.
Under Kroc and his management team, McDonald's kept growing and growing. What started with one hamburger stand in San Bernardino was on its way to becoming an American institution. After buying out the McDonald brothers in the early 60s, the company went public with its first stock offering in 1965. The very next day, Ray Kroc officially became a millionaire. What would he say if he walked in here today and just saw the scope of the operations?
I don't think would have dreamt that it would come to all this. Although I must say he did say something. He said, "I don't know what we'll be selling in the year 2500, but I know we'll be selling more of it than anybody else."
Coming up, go behind closed doors at McDonald's Test Kitchen.
Would you have ever thought that you'd see orange glazed chicken with roasted almonds, with edamame and snow peas and a sesame ginger vinaigrette at McDonald's?
A sneak peek at what's coming soon to a McDonald's near you when Big Mac Inside the McDonald's Empire returns. Big Mac Inside the McDonald's Empire continues.
Armed with an array of utensils, these chefs are on the go. Slicing, dicing, peeling, mincing, sautéing, searing, and grilling, mixing robust flavors.
It's got a good viscosity.
And filling the air with zesty aromas. But this isn't the kitchen at Spago.
You know, if you guys smile, the food tastes better. You know that, right?
This is McDonald's. When you tell people that McDonald's has a head chef and it's you, are they surprised?
Yeah, they are surprised. And I think I'm a hero to a lot of people. Like the 5-year-olds and the 7-year-olds, I'm like, you know.
Dan Coudreau, better known here as Chef Dan, is McDonald's Director of Culinary Innovation. And if you think McDonald's and culinary innovation don't go together, consider this. Chef Dan graduated at the top of his class from the Culinary Institute of America. He served up some of the fanciest dishes at some of the finest restaurants, including the Four Seasons resorts. When you told people, I'm going to go work for McDonald's,
Right.
what was their reaction?
Why McDonald's? I mean, you know, it's just burgers. Their menu hasn't changed in so many years. That's where I don't think people really notice. I don't think people notice that the fruit and yogurt parfait was introduced, or the triple thick shakes and different flavor profiles have been introduced, or the salads were introduced.
Those new items took the fast food giant beyond its core staples of Big Macs, Quarter Pounders, and fries. Here in their gleaming test kitchen at McDonald's headquarters outside of Chicago, Chef Dan has cooked up a few dishes to lighten McDonald's meat and potatoes menu, like the Southwest salad.
You've got fire roasted corn, you've got oven dried tomatoes, poblano peppers, lime, cilantro, really relevant flavors.
And the Asian salad.
Would you have ever thought that you'd see orange glazed chicken with roasted almonds, with edamame and snow peas and a sesame ginger vinaigrette at McDonald's? Well, that's a product that's on our menu today.
But salads aren't all Coudreau has rolled out. Their new creation, the snack wrap, has quickly become a hit.
Can I get 2 snack wraps?
1 snack wrap, crispy with no lettuce.
We're seeing a trend in people doing what we call grazing, or having 5 smaller meals. So the snack wrap just fits in beautifully in that whole arena. That was a good product for us.
The snack wrap was unwrapped only after it passed a battery of tests and met some important criteria.
Is there a market? Is there supply? And is there the ability within our restaurants to produce it?
And with more than 13,000 restaurants around the country, preparation must be easy to duplicate.
We can come up with those great ideas very quickly in this kitchen because we're trained culinarians. But how do we take that product and transition it into our restaurants so that an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old can do it that is working in our restaurants?
That's just the beginning. Creating fast food is actually not so fast. Every item goes through intense scrutiny and an exquisitely detailed development process. Each year, some 1,800 menu ideas are tossed around in Chef Dan's kitchen.
Let's just start throwing ideas out. Breakfast biscuits. Biscuits.
Only 3 or 4 make it to the stores. By the time a product reaches the menu, it's gone through upwards of 200 tests and years in the pipeline.
How's it looking?
Deborah McDaniel is the head of McDonald's Food Innovation and Menu Management. Her team is currently developing a 3rd-pound premium Angus burger. This is not the first time it's been through here being tested.
No, we've used our panels for a lot of different aspects of the development of this particular product. This was probably about our 15th panel.
There are 34 suppliers for this one product. Panels test each supplier's products to make sure they all match precisely. This ensures that every customer at every McDonald's gets the exact same taste. Can you let us know what characteristics you're testing?
We are actually testing the seasoning today. We're really understanding whether a secondary supplier has matched the target product and if they're ready to move forward to potentially be a supplier if this product were to move forward.
2 of these burgers have the approved seasoning, while the 3rd has the test seasoning. Sampling burger after burger after burger, panelists attempt to discern any inconsistency and determine if the seasoning supplier has made a match, taking detailed notes after every bite. It's been an hour or 2 since the panels were done. What did you find out?
Well, unfortunately, the panel showed us today that there was a difference in the 2 products. So our test product did not match our control product, which means that there's some work that needs to be done on the supplier side to try to match this product.
It's not like they're in trouble that they
No.
didn't pass this round.
We work very closely with our supplier partners, and so we need them, and we'll just continue to work with them to identify how to fix it.
Right. With 15 tests behind them, many more evaluations lie ahead for the Angus burger before it's rolled out nationally. This scrutiny isn't limited to the food. Even their hottest items undergo this dissection. McDonald's sells more than 2 million cups of hot coffee each day in the U.S. They've recently added gourmet coffee to their lineup. At the test kitchen, each new flavor is analyzed and deconstructed by the most refined palates.
feel its velvety, smooth texture. You get a little bit of that cocoa residue on your tongue. Okay, sample 901.
It's an exacting process that has produced some of McDonald's biggest hits and a few famous failures. McDonald's reportedly kicked out hundreds of millions of dollars for research, production, and marketing of the Arch Deluxe.
Yes, I even get to make the Arch Deluxe.
And it flopped. With all the testing that goes on here, how does something like the Arch Deluxe or the McLean Deluxe or McPizza happen and then not do well?
I don't know. You know, you try and do all of your upfront work. You make judgment calls. You know, some things maybe hit, some things don't.
But failures don't stop Chef Dan and his team from whipping, kneading, and spicing up the next big thing.
You're going to see things that maybe haven't been around. Lemongrass, is that out of the realm? I don't know. It's going to be whatever our guests are asking for. We're going to listen to them, we're going to develop with them, and we're going to be very guest-centric. I think we're scratching the surface, but I think people are waiting and ready for McDonald's to really catapult to that next level.
Coming up, millions of American kids overweight. Is McDonald's to blame?
There's very clear research showing that when people are served large portions, they eat large portions.
And take a journey to McDonald's next frontier.
And Mojoshi means I'm loving it.
When Big Mac Inside the McDonald's Empire continues. Big Mac Inside the McDonald's Empire continues.
Over the years, as McDonald's has expanded, its portion sizes have expanded too. This McDonald's training film from the 1950s shows the only size burger offered. That was then. Today's largest offering, the double quarter pounder, contains 500% more hamburger meat. Their largest serving of fries has increased by 250%. Facts that stick in the throat of critics like Kelly Brownell, director of Yale University's Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity, which is conducting a multi-year study of McDonald's food.
The products have grown and grown and grown. There's very clear research showing that when people are served large portions, they eat large portions.
Today in the U.S., those large portions, available at McDonald's and elsewhere, so easy, cheap, and tasty, contribute to what is widely seen as an epidemic of obesity. Since 1960, obesity among children and adolescents has more than tripled. And today, more than 9 million children in the U.S. are obese. And poor children face the greatest risk of all, says Brownell.
If you're hungry and you need to fill up and you don't have much money, you want to go for the greatest number of calories per dollar. And the fast food industry offers a lot of that.
CEO Jim Skinner says people don't eat at McDonald's often enough for it to be blamed for obesity. And he says the menu offers lots of items that fit a healthy lifestyle. But the fact of the matter is, for McDonald's, its bread and butter is still meat and potatoes. Big Mac, large fry, and a large Coke. 1,430 calories, 59 grams of fat.
Right.
How is the public supposed to take your directives to make healthy choices when so much of the bread and butter of the business is that kind of food, which is clearly not healthful?
Yeah. Well, you have to make choices, and personal responsibility, make decisions about what you eat.
The fact is, every day, millions of people choose burgers and fries. Marion Nessel is professor of nutrition, food studies, and public health at New York University. As a nutritionist, explain what happens to your body when you eat too much of the kind of food McDonald's serves.
Blood pressure goes up, blood sugar goes up, blood cholesterol goes up. All those bad things happen. And people gain weight, and people cannot handle that on a daily basis.
As the movie Super Size Me famously portrayed, filmmaker Morgan Spurlock lived exclusively on McDonald's meals for 1 month. The company has since eliminated its supersized portions, though it says that's not a result of the movie. McDonald's acknowledges it isn't tone deaf to criticism.
We don't have all the answers. And if you're going to be part of the solution and you're going to be a credible company, you have to listen. And you have to listen to your critics, too.
As big as they are, McDonald's largest portions are smaller than two of its competitors, Burger King and Wendy's. And while many critics credit McDonald's for adding healthy items, some argue that burgers and fries are still the heavyweights.
I think it's great that it's selling apples. I think it's great that it's selling salads. But its main focus is on hamburgers, French fries, and sodas.
Do you think they're interested in seeing their salads sell or their apples sell well, or do they just want it on the menu so they can say, look, we're trying?
I think both. McDonald's is a business, and its job is to sell more food, not less. It doesn't care what kind of food it sells.
Can you envision a day when you don't sell hamburgers?
No, I think we're a hamburger company and we'll always be selling hamburgers.
McDonald's spends $2 billion in advertising aimed at every demographic imaginable, including, of course, children. McDonald's executives claim Ronald McDonald is one of the most recognizable characters on the planet, second only, they say, to Santa.
Ronald McDonald is a means of marketing directly to kids.
Did somebody say?
That is brilliant marketing.
Is it brilliant, or is it manipulative?
Of course it's manipulative.
Recent research finds that children under the age of 8 can't yet discern the manipulative intent of commercials.
The most insidious is to get kids to think that McDonald's Happy Meals, for example, are what kids are supposed to be eating. It's extremely subversive of parental authority.
Parents, does not the responsibility lie with them?
Of course the responsibility lies with parents. Parents are busy, they're tired, they may not see anything wrong with it.
Plus, those Happy Meals feature a constantly changing array of toys.
We come here for my son, who really likes the toys.
This mother says she and her son frequent McDonald's twice a week.
He starts yelling, McDonald's, let's go to McDonald's, you know, and he doesn't stop screaming until we agree to stop and eat often.
But McDonald's says its marketing to children is headed in a healthier direction. Mary Dillon, Global Chief of Marketing, says it hasn't marketed burgers and fries directly to children in 2 years, and she points to their promotional tie-in with the movie Shrek the Third.
Okay, kids, now go outside and play already.
The Shrek promotion, frankly, represents the single biggest promotion we've ever done on fruits and vegetables and milk.
So how much of an answer or a retort is that to critics who say you're still pushing the core products, which hamburgers, fries, and shakes?
Well, first of all, you know, we're proud of our core products, but I would say to those critics, judge us on our actions. We are selling more fruits, vegetables, and milk than we ever have before.
Do consumers get it yet, what you're trying to do when it comes to healthy choices?
I think, frankly, you know, consumers don't really understand what we're all about.
Why? Why don't they understand? You got $1 billion at your disposal every year.
Yeah.
Why hasn't it sunk in?
Not really sure why, except to say that we know we have opportunities to help make, for example, moms even more aware of the offerings that we have.
Like this commercial featuring healthy choices for Happy Meals. But unless you specify the alternatives, McDonald's Happy Meal still comes with the fries. And some studies are finding that most people have no idea of the calorie content of their meals. Like these guys who've told us they've eaten lunch at McDonald's every weekday for 2 weeks. They've never seen any of the calorie or nutrition information that McDonald's provides on the backs of tray liners,
Never knew it was there.
in brochures, at their website, a toll-free number, even directly on the packaging.
Most people don't take the wrapper and read it. They just crumble it up and throw it to the side, just like I did.
Critics say once the burger's in your hand, you've already bought the calories.
600 calories for mine. And that was just a cheeseburger and chicken nuggets. Wow.
There's a growing movement fueled by scientists and city and state governments to require McDonald's and other fast food chains to list calories right up on the menu board. But McDonald's is fighting back hard. After New York City mandated that restaurant chains list calories, McDonald's joined a lawsuit to block the regulation. Still, Skinner says McDonald's wants to be part of the solution.
If the obesity issue in America is something that needs to be solved, McDonald's is big and powerful. We can make a decision and be helpful relative to those solutions.
I will give McDonald's credit for making some positive changes, and in some ways they've been ahead of their competitors in that regard. But you can't overlook a tidal wave of bad food that they're selling to the world with a few drops of goodness that they're doing.
Coming up, communism meets capitalism on McDonald's Next Frontier when Big Mac Inside the McDonald's Empire returns. We now return to Big Mac Inside the McDonald's Empire.
Same hamburgers, same fries, same drinks. You might think you're in Dallas or Detroit, but this is China. 2 decades ago, McDonald's was largely unknown here, except as a symbol of the decadent West. But a capitalist revolution has swept through the People's Republic. And today, mainland China, still officially communist, is home to 800 McDonald's restaurants, with 200 more in Hong Kong.
And 我就喜欢 means I'm loving it.
Jeff Schwartz is loving it too. He's CEO of McDonald's China. When you look at the map, can you imagine how many stores might be in China one day?
I don't need to look at the map to imagine that. I just look at the 1.3 billion population. You know, easily we're talking 10,000 restaurants, 15,000 restaurants as it continues to develop. So the opportunity is endless.
Yeah. Endless, but not effortless. That's why Schwartz and his boss, Tim Fenton, spend so much time in China, on the road, in the air, and on the move.
3 weeks out of 4.
Fenton is president of McDonald's for Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. There's no one at McDonald's with more experience moving into new markets.
Mistakes we've made in the past, you don't open just one store. You get 3 or 4 or 5 deals done, build them consecutively, train the crew consecutively so you save on the money. So when a truck goes out from the distribution center, it's not carrying one store, it's carrying the products for 3 to 5.
When McDonald's first opened in China in 1990, these streets were clogged with bicycles. But prosperity's brought an explosion in car ownership. However many headaches that may mean for Chinese drivers, McDonald's saw an opportunity called drive-through.
Well, this is the very first drive-thru we opened in November of 2005, so it's been about 18 months. Very, very successful.
First drive-thru not just for the company.
For anywhere in China, so anywhere at all in China. So drive-thru was a brand new concept anywhere in China.
In fact, drive-thru was such a new concept in 2005 that many Chinese didn't know how to use it.
We have a lot of traffic, and I'm walking around, they pick up the food, and then they went in and parked their car, they brought the bag of food and they went inside. And I watched this happen several times and I said, I think we might have a problem here on how the Chinese use the drive-thru.
Which meant that Chinese crews not only had to learn how to run a drive-thru, but had to teach their customers how to use one.
They're very good about holding their hands out, that, you know, stop here. Is this something that you train your crew? When the car comes by?
You don't train her crew to greet customer with the hand out of the window. This way they will train their customer of how to use drive-thru.
But still, some customers don't catch on as fast as others.
Well, he's coming in the exit side, this BMW here. That's part of the training sometimes about with the drive-thru.
Yeah. McDonald's is up to 26 drive-thrus in China so far. But if most Chinese drivers still aren't familiar with the idea, that's about to change dramatically. In 2006, McDonald's signed an agreement with the Chinese state oil company, Sinopec, granting it the right to open McDonald's stores at any of Sinopec's new and existing gas stations, 30,000 of them. The very first one, opened in July of 2006, is this store, in a surprisingly run-down neighborhood outside Beijing.
Obviously, it's on the fringe. Okay, it's off the beaten path of main, Beijing. So it's a suburb coming out.
It's a little grittier.
Yeah, it's a little grittier, but it's like an oasis to me. I'm guessing we might be a little premature here.
Yeah.
From the McDonald's side,
Yeah.
but with only upside potential.
Yeah. That, in a nutshell, has become a key part of McDonald's expansion strategy in China. The willingness to bet on an area that may not be ready for McDonald's yet. But with China, the world's fastest growing economy, McDonald's is banking on neighborhoods like this being a good gamble.
It's really not that difficult. You look at a developing area, you see where it's going. You see the corners, you see the retail, you see the apartments and the condos coming in.
You can spot an up-and-comer.
Yeah, we've done a lot of real estate. We've done it like 34,000 times.
Tell me about what this neighborhood looked like before this store was built.
Nothing was around. These buildings right here were half built, and there was nothing behind there. But you looked at the site layout, and they said, well, the shopping mall's going here. There's going to be, 5,000 residents here, and down the street here will be another 5,000 residents. It was amazing.
But for all of China's potential, the learning curve for McDonald's here has been steep, and they've had to play catch-up. When McDonald's opened its first mainland store in 1990, rival KFC had already been there for 3 years. Today, there are more than 1,900 KFC stores in China, more than twice as many as the Golden Arches. McDonald's has a lot of competition here in China, not all of it from big-name U.S. brands like KFC. You can find mom-and-pop food stands like these all over the country. And although dishes like scorpions and seahorses on a stick may not be your idea of a meal, here they're traditional, they're convenient, and they're cheap. A short walk through any Chinese city reveals a kaleidoscopic array of foods, tastes, and textures. Adapting the McDonald's menu to palates used to foods like these is the job of McDonald's corporate chef, Leslie Bailey.
Now, this is the value pork burger.
He spends his days in a Hong Kong food lab that McDonald's calls the Forbidden Kitchen.
We're going to test this in 40 stores.
It's got a good kick to it.
What makes it hot? Is it the sauce or even the patty?
No, the patty itself. It's seasoned with Sichuan pepper.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is a good sandwich.
Right. With the cucumber.
Wow.
Taste, convenience, and price are important in China, just like in the U.S. But the issue here that trumps them all is food safety. It is a nightmarish problem in a developing country where corruption is rampant and safe food handling practices are still largely unknown. How much do you live in fear of waking up some morning and seeing a headline about McDonald's food safety being called into question?
I don't live in fear of it. It's always in the back of your mind, something because of the area we live in, particularly of the history that this part of the world has had with avian influenza and SARS.
Food safety concerns are one reason all Chinese McDonald's stores have hand-washing stations and hand sanitizers right out in the main restaurant. And behind the scenes, McDonald's says its stores and its Chinese suppliers, like this bun factory near Beijing, meet the same standards as those in the U.S.
We do have quality control inspections unannounced and surprised that all of a sudden our QA people will show up at your door and say, now, tour, let's go.
Food safety is one more strength McDonald's is hoping to market in China. It's also a major sponsor of the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, where Chairman Mao still keeps watch over Tiananmen Square. But 2 blocks away, Big Macs have become the latest Chinese food. With more than half of its stores in foreign countries, McDonald's has long since given up trying to count how many burgers it's sold. What it is counting on is a future where the Golden Arches continue to spread across the globe, generating more French fries, income, visibility, and quite possibly more controversy than Ray Kroc could ever have imagined. I'm Carl Quintanilla for CNBC. Thanks for watching.